Welcome back to Always on Call, the show about caregiving by caregivers. I'm Kris McCabe. When you're on an airplane, you're instructed to put on your oxygen mask before helping others in case of an emergency. Well, caregiving flies by the same rules. Taking time to check in with yourself and making sure your own needs are being met sets you up to give the best care possible. Today, we are welcoming Nikki Nurse to our show. Nikki was the full-time caregiver for her mother for over a decade. Now, she helps women prioritize personal health and wellness through her self-care brand, a log cabin in Brooklyn. Nikki, thank you so much for joining the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited about today.
I'm so excited as well. And you are very intentional about the care that you provided for your mom living with Alzheimer's, but you're also very intentional about your own self-care. Can you share a little bit about how you got there?
Definitely. I got there through a lot of battle wounds. When I first started as my mom's caregiver, I had an idea of what it would be like, but that was not what it was. It was a lot of different changes. Instead of just assuming that my mom with dementia was just going to forget a lot, I didn't understand that it was more than just the memory fading. It was a lot of personality changes as well, and just a complete change in our lifestyle. So I approached it with the idea that my mom and I had to be a team. We had to work together in order to make this work. And this being a new experience with how we were going to implement changes. And a lot of that encompassed self-care, like how we were taking care of each other, both physically, mentally, and even emotionally. So I think that we did a really great work. I'm really proud of the over 10 years of caring that we gave to each other. And I'm so glad that I was able to use that experience to help and encourage other caregivers to do the same.
So I love that it's really a care partnership between you and your mother. You really do a great job about caring for one another. Do you think it's possible to balance taking care of someone with Alzheimer's while taking care of yourself? You did a really good job about partnering with your mom and caring for one another, but how did you find time for you?
Oh man, I love this question. And it's a very daunting experience if you don't plan things out. I think it's important to be intentional with our time. And when it came to my mom and balancing out my own, my own lifestyle, I really did have to be organized. You know, I noticed that with my mom, I really was diligent about her doctor appointments or time to take her medication or when she had to eat or when we had to do physical activities like yoga or walking the dog. But I really wasn't like that with my own schedule. So I had to start taking the time to do that. And what prompted me to do it was burnout. I would get so exhausted by putting so much energy and consistent effort into my mom's care that I would be so lethargic when it came to myself, like exhausted, out of breath. I don't even have the gumption to try to make time for myself. So when it came to the burnout, it really did prompt me to start being intentional with my own care and to not feel guilty about taking the time to care for myself. That was really where I think a lot of the struggle came for me, was the mental guilt and thinking that, you know, if I take a break, it's not fair because I should be doing something else for my mom. But really, in reality, I can't do anything for my mom or anyone if I don't take time for myself. And rest, I learned, was productive. When I was able to, not so much taking a nap or sleeping, but when I was able to refill my cup, by doing breathing exercises or waking up just a little bit earlier to enjoy something that brought me back joy, whether that be stretching or drinking coffee out of a mug that had a special message just for me, it helped give me more energy to take care of my mom. And I encourage caregivers to do that because I know that this caregiving journey is very long and there are times where it feels like there is no time for self. But we have to make the time. And making the time is going to look very different for everyone, but the time is there. whether that be taking a shower just a couple of minutes longer, or asking a friend or a relative to come by just for an hour so that you can sit and read or take a walk or go to Target, whatever is your jam. I encourage every caregiver to make the time.
Finally, this caregiving journey can be so isolating. They say it takes a village. So, who do you call on for support?
They are absolutely right. That is the gospel truth. It does take a village. And you know what helped me to really cement that idea that it's a village? Because when I was caring for my mom, she had an entire village. She had a tribe behind her. She had her neurologist, her primary doctor, her dentist. She had her foot doctor. She had like all of these occupational therapists. And then I was SMHing, like scratching my head, like, what do I have? Like, who's checking in on me? Because my mom would always have phone calls on my phone checking in on her status and how she was doing. And I just thought that maybe I should do that. So what I do now is I create my own personal village. It's my care team. And my care team consists of a mental therapist or life coach, also a personal trainer, which for me is the Peloton app, or like a YouTube video like Yoga by Adrienne. It also consists of my animals, my pets. I really believe in pet therapy. And I think that that's also a part of how I take care of myself, is taking the time to cuddle with them and talk with them, go on walks with them. So yeah, and also my care team consists of a nutritionist plan. So not specifically a nutritionist, but just like a dietary plan that I can observe and follow, and that works with my lifestyle. So lifestyle for me would include budget. I think when it comes to being a caregiver, we need to not just focus on self-care as a meme, like getting my nails done and dressing up and putting on hoops. It's more than that. It's a mental and also a physiological aspect that we need to put into play. So when we can put all of that together, then I think it wouldn't feel like such a daunting experience. But again, it comes down to organizing and being intentional with that.
Thank you for joining this show, Nikki, and thank you to everyone who tuned in to the second episode of Always on Call. We hope you learned as much from Nikki's story as I did, and take some time to check in on yourself this week. You can check out the show notes for more about Nikki's journey and self-care. Share this episode with your friends and family so they can learn about caregiver self-care too. We'll see you right back here every other Friday. And remember that while caregiving is common, caregivers are special.